Japanese Kirby game items are some of my favorite items to collect Kirby. Japan, being the country of origin of Kirby, has a lot of games that were released there a few weeks or months before in the US, so they are the true first releases of the game. Being a sealed video game collector, it was a kind of a tough pill to swallow to realize that I'm most likely never going to be able to buy every Kirby game in Japanese sealed and box and graded. There are so many elusive games that are just pop ones and so obscure to find that it's borderline impossible for me to find all of them sealed and box and graded. So instead of that, I will be announcing today that I am going for every Kirby game released in Japanese in CIB condition. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to stay tuned for more videos. And without further ado, before we get into my sealed Japanese Kirby titles, let's take a look at the two that I bought CIB. The first game that I'm showing you guys today is this complete in-box copy of the original Kirby's Dream Land, also known as Hoshi no Kirby in Japan, on the Nintendo Game Boy. This was Kirby's first game ever, and the first time that this game has been released into the world, making it the first appearance of our favorite pink puffball. This game is in a box a bit smaller than like the other Game Boy boxes, but it's just a super cool piece to have in the collection. This game is responsible for putting Masahiro Sakurai on the map, and is just basically a gem for me because it kickstarted my favorite video game character and series of all time. I am super happy to own this game in CIB condition, and now let's get to the next one. And next up, we have my CIB copy of Kirby Superstar in Japanese on the Super Famicom. This is just one of those games that just take a video game franchise to new heights. This game has so many modes, so many characters, able to play with 2 players, and really just elevated Kirby to the next level. This box art is super sick with this wooden look that they would later use to inspire the 20th anniversary collection in the American release of the game. These games, CIB is really cool because unlike sealed, you're able to actually appreciate the artwork that is on the manuals and the cartridges, as well as other inserts. So collecting CIB, although not as elusive or hard to find as sealed, is rewarding in other aspects. Also, just being able to pop these games in and play them is always a plus. So I really do enjoy collecting these Kirby games in CIB, and I will be getting more in the future. Without further ado, let's start moving on to my sealed Kirby video games in Japanese. Right here, we have a copy of Kirby's Pinball Land and a VGA 85. If you guys haven't checked out, I actually have an unboxing with these and some other Japanese Kirby games that are all Pop 1 from VGA. I'll leave a link in this video. But this game is Kirby's first spin-off game, and to have it in sealed condition, being a Pop 1, was a super, super cool piece to add into the collection. I absolutely love this box art. I love the cover. I think it's pretty bright and vibrant in comparison to the American copy. I do love the American copy of the game, but this Japanese one really just takes that art and just takes it to a nice level. I love that there's a lot of characters on the front, such as King Dedede, Kracko, Wispy Woods alongside Kirby, and this is just one of those pieces that will never be leaving my collection. And without further ado, let's take a look at the next game that we have sealed for the Kirby franchise. Next up, we have another Pop 1 game in this VGA 85 copy of Kirby's Block Ball on the Game Boy. This game is super fun and actually holds up really well to this day. It has the same box art in the front as the American copy of the game, but it's just really sweet to have. I love this pose Kirby is doing in the top left. I don't believe it's featured on any of the American artwork of the game, and just being a Pop 1, any of these games are just super elusive to find. And for those who don't know, who are just getting into maybe like sealed video game collecting, a lot of these Game Boy games, or all of these Game Boy games rather, have never been produced with a factory seal in Japan, making it super hard to find in conditions that are able to be validated as being unopened throughout time. And having a Pop 1, like I just said before, is really such a cool thing to have. Just knowing that I have a piece of Kirby history that there isn't any other out there. Next up, we have this other Pop 1 in this VGA 85 copy of Kirby's Dream Land 2 on the Nintendo Game Boy. This game I won on that same heritage auction as those other 2 Game Boy games I showed, and this game also, like the American release, features the same cover art. Fun fact, this is the first time Waddle Dee has ever been on a cover of a Kirby game, so for all you Waddle Dee fans out there, that's just something cool that you guys should know. This game is really fun and is actually the kickstart of the Dark Matter trilogy, which Kirby fans know is a super important timeline and introduce iconic villain. It's like Dark Matter and Zero 2. This game, I actually have a CIB copy on the way from Japan as we speak, so that is one that I'll be able to add into our Japanese CIB collection as well. I'm super excited to get that in and take a look at the manual inside as well. And now stepping away from a VGA 85, we have this 85 plus copy of Kirby Star Stacker in Japanese. This game actually has a little bit more of a sealed pop than those other games, but I really love this box art. Unlike the others, you can see that the box in the front doesn't just have a silver border around it. It has a little bit more pink, giving it a little bit more flair than the rest of these copies. This game is really fun, and I really am happy to have this in my collection. This happens to be my first sealed Japanese Kirby game, or unopened in this case, but my first unopened Japanese graded Kirby game, and it's such a cool piece to have in the collection. And stepping away from the original Game Boy, let's take a look at this sealed copy of Kirby's Tilt and Tumble in Japanese. This is a Game Boy Color game where you have to tilt control Kirby in it, and the box art is super different than the American print, which I love adding these to the collection because it really feels just like a totally separate piece. The box art is really nice on this game, and the back is really cool, featuring some different artwork than the American cover. This game also does have a tilt feature where you tilt Kirby on the Game Boy Color, which makes it a kind of like a really revolutionary spin-off for the time. The cartridge in the game is also pink, which is really cool. This is a game that is really nice visually, and even if you never played it, one of those shelf pieces that I think will look great in any collection, sealed or not sealed. And next, let's take a look at what I think most sealed collectors would consider my most prestigious piece in my Kirby sealed collection in Japanese. Right here, we have a VGA 95 Plus of Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland on the Nintendo Game Boy. This is a spin-off of Kirby's Adventure on the Super Famicom, and just having a 95 Plus on any game, let alone a cardboard box game, is super hard to find. This game is really fun and actually allows you to play at Meta Knight in the post-game mode, which is really cool to make it the first time he was playable in a mainline series Kirby game. And now let's step away from the handheld titles and go to the two sealed Kirby titles that go on a home console. First is this copy of Kirby's Adventure on the Super Famicom in a stunning VGA 95. The box art on this game is brilliant, and for those who don't know, this is the first time that Kirby had his signature copy ability in a game. With this game, people would consider it to be one of the most prestigious and nicest looking Kirby games on the NES console due to its vibrant colors and detailed stages. The game has a killer soundtrack and is really one of those games that is such a nice piece to have in the collection. And lastly, let's take a look at what is the most important Kirby game that I own in Japanese to me, the sealed Kirby's Air Ride on the Nintendo GameCube. This is one of Pop 3 and also being the highest pop in this VGA 90 example. This is the first Kirby game that I've ever played in the US, so having this in Japanese was a must for me, and I just knew when this went up for auction, I wasn't losing this auction no matter what the price was going up to. So this game is really special to me, and I'm so happy that not only to have it in Japanese, but being a person that's not really one of those guys that like values the grade or the overall pop, this is the one game in my collection I would say that I'm very grateful and very excited to say that I do have the #1 pop in the world. This game just means the most to me. This game is the game that got me into the Kirby franchise and really opened the door for me to love video games my whole life, even outside of Kirby. And there we have it. As you saw today, this is currently my CIB and sealed Kirby video game collection. I'm super happy that you guys stayed along for this video, and I'm super excited to see where the CIB journey goes in the future. Owning these games is a monumental honor to me. The Kirby franchise just means so much to me, and I really am excited that I was able to share these with you guys today. I have some more videos planned coming up, including a sealed video game collection of my non-Kirby games. So if you're into sealed video games, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And if you're into other collectibles and content, please hit that button again, because I have a bunch of other content that I'm super excited to show you guys. As always, this is your boy Adam the Kirby Collector. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day.